The order of business, though, for the Seahawks moving forward is who fills Clint Kubiak's shoes. And we all know the Super Bowl winner last year lost their offensive coordinator to be a head coach somewhere else in Kellen Moore, and we all know what happened in Philadelphia. Obviously, Seattle would love to avoid the same pitfall. What do you think is going to happen here? Who are the candidates and how wide the search might be, Tom?
Well, it starts out with the internal candidates. Andrew Janocko is a key one to watch because not only he's the quarterbacks coach, not only is he a top candidate for the Seahawks offensive coordinator job, there's also a possibility, a strong one, if he doesn't stay in Seattle, that he's going to go with his best friend Clint Kubiak to Las Vegas and become the Raiders OC. The difference is in Seattle, Janocko would get to call the plays. So if he's offered that job, I don't know, but I would think he would strongly consider taking that over being a non-play calling OC with the Raiders. Jake Peetz is another one. When they changed out the offensive staff last year, Peetz was the one assistant that Mike McDonald really felt strongly about keeping in Seattle. So another guy who could either go with Clint or potentially be the play calling OC in Seattle. Justin Outen, Mac Brown, two other assistants in Seattle. Both those guys are going to interview for the job as well. There are some other, coaches that they've interviewed because they've run offensive coordinator searches, I think now 4 years in a row. So there are other, coaches out there. I don't believe it's Mike Kafka. He's on staff with Detroit. I know he was a top candidate last time, and the Giants at that time wouldn't let him out. I don't anticipate that he's going to be the guy. Hank Fraley from the Lions, Adam Stenavich from the Packers are two guys that they interviewed last time around as well. They have to, under league rules, run a full search here. So they're starting out with the internal candidates, which, by the way, bold move starting your OC interviews the day after everybody is in a literally Bud Light sponsored parade. Yeah. You're finding out, above all else, who can sober up the fastest prior to these interviews as you get those going over the next couple of days. But I would say keep an eye on Andrew Janocko. One way or another, I anticipate he's an OC somewhere in the next week or so here. Is it going to be in Seattle or is it going to be with his buddy Kubiak in Vegas?
And what is atop John Schneider's to-do list in terms of contracts that need to be addressed, players to keep, players who might retire? What do you think, Tom? What's the deal there?
They've got some high-profile free agents. I was going through my spreadsheets on the plane back from San Francisco because we're less than a month away from free agency right now. The fact that Kenneth Walker III stayed healthy throughout the course of the season, which had, of course, been the frustration point. He's always had, those bursts and those moments, those flashes of being a guy, but he had a ton of injuries over the first several years of his career. Now all of a sudden he's healthy. He wins Super Bowl MVP. He looked like a Super Bowl MVP in that game. Schneider made the wisecrack, and I think he was serious. The Walker was trying to negotiate him backstage, which if your GM is holding a red Solo cup, I believe all those negotiations are strictly non-binding.
Jerry thinks a handshake is the end of it, man, and Micah winds up a Packer because of it. I don't know. Maybe Schneider kept his hands in one hand in his pocket, one hand on his Solo cup. I don't know, Tom. You never know anymore.
John's very smart. He also was walking around pregame on the field in Santa Clara handing out small Jesus statues with "Jesus loves you" written on it, just trying to get any positivity going surrounding his team. But listen, in terms of his to-do list, I mean, Kenneth Walker III is a free agent. Reek Woolen's a free agent who, frankly, they probably, didn't think that they were going to be able to sign him, which is why, he was a potential trade target during the season. Kobe Bryant, one of their safeties, another player who's going to be a very popular free agent. And then you've got, Devin Witherspoon's eligible for a contract extension. Jackson Smith-Njigba is eligible for a contract extension. Sam Darnold signed a 3-year deal. Historically, the Seahawks have not done new deals with 2 years left. Certainly, I would anticipate that there's a conversation that his agents try to strike up here, but I believe that Darnold probably will go into next year with largely the same contract in place. They're not going to rip the thing up. Maybe there's ways that they move things around, but there's a fairly long to-do list. I think that's always the case when you're talking about a team that just won the Super Bowl. Everybody wants to strike while the iron's hot, so to speak. But the number one thing on the to-do list is making sure they get the OC right because they nailed it with Clint Kubiak last year. Another move, Rich, that at the time wasn't like everybody got super fired up about it. It was the exact right fit. It seems like they want to keep that system in place. Now it's a matter of who do you put in place that's going to be able to do the best job with it.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.